All right, Nick. Bottom 9, down 5-1 to the world champions. And appropriately so. I wasn't going to get into this. We're not going to get into this because I think we need to save it for the show. But appropriately so, the very first pitch that we come into on our live stream is a missed strike 3 call by home plate umpire. And Will Benson is not Will Benson, excuse me. Gavin Lux is the beneficiary. Some people are saying that if I decide to take a poster of the umpire's scorecard tomorrow and I try to perhaps bring that into the stadium, that they won't allow it. I don't see how they wouldn't allow it outside of the fact that maybe they would deem it as derogatory. But I don't see how you could deem it as derogatory when it's just a factual thing that you're bringing in. It doesn't mean that I'm saying it was bad. I'm just bringing some evidence. That's all. Why is this bad? If they tell me it's bad tomorrow, I'm gonna say, well, why is this bad? This isn't bad. I'm here for accountability. I just want to make sure everyone sees the performance from last night. That's all. They can judge for themselves. I don't know. I think they would let me bring it in. No, no.
I don't know.
Am I being naive?
I don't know. I don't know. Reminds me of another life. When I was a DJ for a hockey team, a defunct now hockey team called the Queen City Steam. Wow. They were like they were like the Dominican Summer League Reds, the DSL Reds of
Okay.
hockey is probably the equivalent. And after what I thought was a bad call, I played the little 3 blind mice over the speakers, and the whole team like came running at me and said, "You'll literally make our team go defunct because that's like a $3,000 fine, and we don't have $3,000." So,
it seems like they didn't just have $3,000 because I think they went defunct regardless.
They did go defunct a year after I departed, but
okay.
As far as I know, they didn't. They got it in time, but the referee kept staring at me the rest of the game. That was for sure.
Not to jinx this, but is the popping gone, or is it there? It's gone. It's there again. I mean, what are we supposed to do?
I didn't want to say anything.
Come
it's just
on,
like,
man. You know. Oh, I'm gonna power through it tonight and act like it's not that big of a deal. But it's a new PC. It's gonna have to be a new PC. I mean, that's where we're at. I'm gonna start eliminating things and seeing if it fixes it.
We could just turn off. We could turn off all the
I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it.
Let's see.
I don't think that's it. I really don't think that's it. If that's it, then the show. Then there's. I don't know what to say about the show. We kind of need graphics. It's part of the show. You're telling me that the popping went away?
It's completely gone.
I don't know, man. What do you want from me?
Did you try to re-put in singular? You try to
I've tried that. I've tried that. I'll try it again. Let's do it one more time. Why not? Why not? Now I got to get the link.
It's crazy that's.
It's just technology, man. I don't know.
I mean, I guess we could like when I do the box score recap, just put it on because you're not talking. And then
I feel like that's we're really trying to do some special stuff here. I do get what you're saying because it's almost like you'd rather have it in podcast form.
All I have to do is just click on the box score and then turn it off when it's off.
All right, I don't have. Oh, you have it all the way off right now. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I took. Yeah. Do you want me to put one on?
No, I don't. I'm gonna copy this. For those that are wondering, there are 2 men on with 1 out, 5-1 Reds. If you do this long enough. If you do this long enough, at some point. All right, so I got the link. Let's add the input.
You can see a first aid kit behind me now. I guess one of my kids left a first aid kit out. Might be all kinds of stuff behind me that I don't know about.
There might be. Then I can close this one. All right, and testing this one. Does it come back again? Back?
Not yet.
Not back. Not back yet. The trade deadline can stay, supposedly. Maybe. I mean, if you have to listen that closely, we're already a little bit better off. As Will Benson stands in 0-1 with 1 out, men on first and second. And Will Benson is 0 for 3 tonight, looking for his first hit, which would be a big one here. You know why? Because it would bring the tying run to the plate. So we're good on that one. Let's throw that one in. Just start slowly adding them in one by one. We'll see what breaks the camel's back, as they say. I'm glad that we're working through this. Oh yeah, we're working through this on the live ticker here. It's back. All right, maybe it just took a minute for it to actually come back because it just needed time for it to figure that out. Let's try one more thing. Try it. Why not? I mean, at this point, what do we have to lose? 103. Okay.
Yeah, boy, Will.
Close. 1. All right, I'm deliberately going to sit here and keep doing what we've been doing for very superstitious reasons. I'm well aware of what's going on, and I just want everybody to know that if you do this long enough, who knows? I'm assuming it's still crackling because I did change out something. I did something. Now, whether or not it actually fixed the problem, I don't know. But it's I cleared it out. I put in a new version. And the problem with the new version is based off the last time I did this, it took about 30 seconds for it to catch back up and start crackling again. So I fully expect that to happen. But maybe, just maybe, the version of the browser that I just sent it through made the difference. I don't know. Nobody really totally knows what the problem is.
There's nothing yet.
All right, well, we'll see.
Did you switch browsers?
I switched. Inside of the software that we use, there is it's back. All right, well. Anyway, there's a version that you can select on which browser you'd like it to be. I changed the browser. Apparently it didn't matter. I don't know. It's kind of I like how everybody's on the same page with us. They think it works, and then it slowly doesn't work.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some people that have absolutely no idea what we're talking about, because if you're on a certain device,
right.
If you're watching on your phone, you probably don't even notice it. But if you have any sort of like speaker, you're clearly
yeah. No, it's a little annoying. I can hear it on my phone, so it's just we're just gonna have to get a whole new system. Well, if there was ever a time to run into one, some are saying this would be it. That's a tough AB. You let the two breaking balls that kind of land in the middle of the zone, and then you swing at the one that goes in the dirt. Tells me that he just wasn't seeing it very well. That's what that tells me. So, yeah. Well, I love TJ Friedl. I'd love to see him run into one.
I like that he's 0 for 4. I feel like he has a lot of 0 for 5s on the ledger.
1 for 4. 1 for 4.
Oh, I thought I heard 0 for 4.
Yeah, you got a double. It's all right. You got a double.
Oh yeah, he's our DSC deep drive of the day.
Yeah. Don't forget. Put some respect on that double.
I put that in earlier.
Did you call that a ball?
Yeah.
This guy, dude. This guy's This guy's so struggling tonight, dude. His report card is gonna be so bad. It's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be like maybe there's a chance that it's like 91, 92%. Like, which is so bad.
One day.
I'll take a walk. I'll take a walk, Nick. I'll take a walk.
Yeah.
Come on. I hate to say this, but you got to take this pitch no matter what. I know it's 3-0. You might be able to hit it over the fence, but I'm just taking
you take that one.
All right, boys. If you do this long enough, that's what I'm saying. If you do it long enough, come on.
Didn't Matt McClain have a little moment against the Dodgers once?
One time, Chad. That's what we need. I mean, I'm not asking for a whole lot. Just they're throwing the replay on it right now. It wasn't a homer, but it was a what we call a sacrifice double.
Was that Shelby Miller?
Yeah,
a little bit different than Blake Trinan.
I don't think that also it would probably be classified as a double because he didn't get to second, but a little double bubble on the head. So there's that.
All right.
What are we doing here?
They're making a change
to a lefty.
He's at 25 pitches. Their bullpen is banged up, man. Trinan just got activated off the IL. I was hoping they'd bring in Alexis.
You know what's insane about that move, in my opinion? You know what I think they just decided to do?
Well, it's for Elly.
Exactly. Yeah. That's 100%.
That's how impactful he is on the game. He's not even the guy up to the plate. There's 2 outs, and you know what?
Yeah, let's bring in the guy that we think that can get Elly out in case he gets a base hit. That's a fact, Jack. But you know what's true. I'm just gonna let everybody know. It doesn't really matter who's up next if Matt McClain runs into a baseball and hits it over the fence because it's just irrelevant at that point.
Game day's behind. Who did they bring in? They haven't even updated who they brought in.
Well, I don't know, some lefty that's wearing number 80 something.
Well, I'd like to know something about him.
I'm not saying you should.
Is it Banda? It's either Banda or Dreyer. I'm assuming it's Banda.
Do they have numbers on Fangraphs?
43 or 86.
I think it's 86.
Oh yeah, it's Dreyer. Yeah, I put up his picture. He got that mustache. Wow.
Yeah, I think it's 86.
What
do you have on
Dreyer.
What do you have on him?
The rookie, 40 career games, 2.92 ERA.
All right.
So he's pitched well, but
that's what they say about Trevor Rogers too.
He's a rookie. I tell you, Matt McClain has still hit lefties very well. I haven't looked recently, but I feel like he was still a above average hitter this year against lefties.
They also put Ruiz in left field. Strury Ruiz. What a name that is.
McClain's a little better. He's got 330 on base percentage against lefties, though.
How many bombs does he have?
2 and 83 at bats.
All right, so he's due.
This guy's only allowed 1 all year, so he's also due.
I like that. That's the way we're gonna look at this. Come on,
Dreyer.
Please talk about stealing. This would be highway robbery, Nick. This would be grand theft.
4-seamer slider curveball. Doesn't throw that hard. Only 93 miles an hour.
Come on, Matt. That's a ball.
We're not even.
All right,
yeah.
You're a little ahead of me. That's fine. I good to know though. That's good to know. Come on, Matt. Just
good take.
Just lace one up there. Are they?
No, they're not pitching.
Are they? No. I'm not saying they're pitching around him. Are they going to throw him a middle? There's no way, right?
Yeah,
you throw a breaking ball here 2-0. Like if you don't have the balls to throw this middle with fastball, do you? Also, you're ahead of me, so just hold your excitement for like a half a second. Oh my God, Matt. Come on, bro. Like you can't roll over that 2-0. The ball's in the outside corner. Not seeing the ball well enough, I guess. I don't know. I'm begging. I'm getting upset at a guy for not hitting a home run when I needed him to hit a home run. All right, we didn't deserve it, maybe some are saying, but we got more to talk about here in just a minute. Stick around. We're going to do a better show. See ya.
Bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. That goes to Lindsay. And the save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. He's gone. Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Walker. The Reds win the pennant. Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb. Spencer Steers' first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again. The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Win! Line to right field. Julian, the first run ever, with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line, doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Are you kidding me? Holy moly, this is the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, welcome into a losing edition of Chatterbox Reds. I am hopeful that the crackling goes away, and if it doesn't, we're going to try to again tomorrow. But nonetheless, Nick, I don't know really how to feel about it, because it's a game in which you really didn't play all that well. Your offense was stagnant most of the afternoon into the night, and you also had a chance at the end of the game to get some swings off that could have meant that you won the game and or tied the game in the final frame. So you kind of have mixed emotions, but I'm sure we'll get into all that and more as we discuss it. But any overarching thoughts? But I guess before we jump into the rundown that is the Reds unfortunate loss.
No, I mean, it was just one of those games. I mean, I think Yamamoto, I mean, he's a really good pitcher. And when you're not getting a very generous strike zone, you're going up against Yamamoto, I think you just chalk it up to not your night and you move on in the next day.
It's a fair way to put it, but we'll get into maybe what could have happened or what some would say should have happened that could have helped this baseball team win. But, I think it's probably pretty appropriate to remind ourselves that Yamamoto is a very, very good starting pitcher and probably weren't supposed to come out here and beat him around the yard like he's some rookie that has a 7 or 8 ERA for the season. So, Nick, take it away whenever you're ready, and then we'll jump into some things I think are worthwhile to discuss.
All right, Reds taking on the Dodgers. Game 1 of 3 at Great America Ballpark. Reds enter on a 4-game win streak. Chase Burns up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Dodgers jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the first off of Chase Burns after a double from Mookie Betts and then a single from Teoscar Hernandez. Reds responded in the bottom of the first. Matt McLain singled and Elly De La Cruz walked, and then Austin Hayes was just barely able to sneak in a single to tie the game at 1. Reds had one other really good chance in the bottom of the third. TJ Friedl doubled, and then Elly De La Cruz singled on a pretty bad misplay by Michael Conforto in left field. Reds had runners on the corners with just one out, but Hayes struck out, and then after Elly stole second base, Gavin Lux popped out to end the inning. Chase Burns was rolling right along pretty well up until the 5th inning. Miguel Rojas doubled. Not the best play from Hayes to try to get him down at second base. And then Betts singled on a ball past Marte that the broadcast actually said was an error initially, but eventually called a single. Regardless, a tough play, but one you probably like your third baseman to make. Ohtani then doubled home both of those runners to make it 3-1 Dodgers. Chase Burns would end up with a final pitching line of 5 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. Burns becomes the second Reds pitcher since 1900 to have 10 strikeouts in 3 straight starts. That's not rookie. That's any Reds pitcher. Burns also becomes the 14th MLB pitcher with 45 strikeouts through his first 6 big league starts. But Scott Barlow would give up 2 runs in the 7th to make it 5-1. Yamamoto was absolutely dominant. Really after that 3rd inning, he retired 14 of the final 15 batters that he faced, getting through 7 innings, only allowing 4 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and he got 9 strikeouts. But then in the 9th inning, the Reds did show some life. Gavin Lux walked after Steer struck out. Tyler Stevenson ripped a single, and then Will Benson ripped a single to load the bases. But then Noelvi Marte struck out. TJ Friedl walked, and then Matt McLain grounded out to end the game. Reds fall 5-2. Reds now 56-51 on the season.
All right, we got a deep drive of the day off the bat of TJ Friedl. Unfortunately, this baseball team doesn't believe in home runs, so we have to settle for doubles as the deep drive of the day. TJ Friedl, that's his 16th double of the year, 105.8 off the bat, 241 feet, 14-degree launch angle. That might explain why it went 241 feet. At the time, the win probability for your Cincinnati Reds was a 62% chance of winning, with the game being tied 1-1. DSC, they are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thank you to John, his team. Let's just kind of get into some of the nuts and bolts of it. I quickly want to just discuss the last inning. I think that always is fresh in everybody's minds, and I think it could get overblown a little bit in regards to decisions that were made. Matt McLain is going to get crushed because he didn't get a big hit. And if Matt McLain gets a big hit, then all of a sudden he's, the second baseman, next coming of Joe Morgan that we've always thought he was going to be. And obviously we can all agree that that's a little unfair based off one at bat. If you don't think he should be swinging 2-0, then I would say to you, then that's a guy that you shouldn't be arguing should be hitting in the 2-hole. I mean, if you don't think that in a bases loaded situation with the pitcher presumably on the ropes, we were debating, Nick, whether or not they're going to have to probably go after him because you don't want to walk him and get to Elly. it's a spot where you should be ready to hit. You're not taking in that spot. Now, you could have a sincere beef or whatever term you'd like to use with the swing, the decision on, rolling over a ground ball in the outside corner. You'd like for your hitter to be very selective there, as you've heard 1,000 times, one pitch, one spot. But that is a true one pitch, one spot scenario. And you can't get upset at him for swinging in and of itself. So let's kind of calm those talks. If you think your 2-hole hitter should be taking on 2-0, that tells you everything you know about how much we probably need a guy that can hit in the 2-hole. I'll start with that. But Yamamoto is probably the storyline. I know that everyone's going to kind of jump on the offense, Nick. They scored 2 runs. I think they had, one coming into the 9th inning itself. I guess for as much as I get upset from time to time about how abysmal this offense can be, I'm not saying I give them a pass, but it's really hard to hit a guy like Yamamoto. And, again, I'm not a blame the umpire guy. And when you have an inconsistent zone all night and you don't know what's a strike, you don't know what's a ball, you have guys that are what should be walking and they're not walking, and then you have guys that that are getting punched out on pitches that are outside the zone. It's frustrating. And I just would say this feels like a game that you lose throughout the course of an entire baseball season. And I know that's not what people maybe want to hear, but that's how I feel about it. They lost tonight. They lost. And I think that there's other reasons as to why they lost than just the 9th inning.
Yeah, I think the offense isn't maybe trending in a good direction right now, but I wouldn't make too big of a deal out of this in particular game. Pretty jarring stat from Gingersaurus Rex over on Twitter. Reds 2 extra base hits in their last 3 games. So that's probably more concerning than this game individually. But yeah, Matt McClain, I mean, he's been playing pretty well. Like I think his last coming into tonight, last 43 games, a 110 WRC plus. So he's certainly been more than fine playing the defense that he plays. But batting second, it does still. I don't know. It's one of those things. Again, it's one of those things like that I think a lot of people get mad about. But on my list of gripes with the way that the Reds get managed is probably like not even in the top 10. So I feel like I have way more bigger fish to fry than Matt McClain batting second. But I will be positive. Look, Tyler Stevenson and Will Benson both good swings in the 9th inning off of a really good pitcher in Blake Trinan. I mean, you talk about one of the most dominant relievers of the last handful of years. So that was good to see both those guys. Benson really needed it. So that was at least something nice for those guys to take positive, going into the rest of these series, which honestly just hope to win one of these next 2.
100%. As I said on Sunday, I think that them winning and sweeping the Tampa Bay Rays, the fact that they did that makes it to where if they can just win one single game in this series against the Dodgers, that is more than you could have ever asked for in regards to the homestand. It just is. Those are the facts. Now, question of the day is going to eventually be, can they win one? Can they win one of these next 2? The odds are stacked up against them to a certain extent, right? I'm going to try to jinx this thing the opposite way. They've not been swept all season, Nick. And someone standing from the outside looking in is probably going to say, well, at some point they're going to get swept. I don't give a damn who they are. They're going to get swept. And you look at the pitching matchups heading into this series and you think, well, wouldn't be shocking if this was it. That said, though, they had their chances, and I think that jumps us into the defense. I think that's ultimately where I'm maybe more disappointed than anything. And I know people are going to say you need to score more. No doubt. I'm not going to argue with you. I can't. We've expressed that concern for so long on this show. At least I have all season long. That it'd be a waste of my time to sit here and tell you again how inept it feels like this offense can be at times. Right? I don't know, Nick, but I think we had maybe 2 hits, 5 through 9 in the order in total. It's really hard to, if you don't hit the ball out of the ballpark and you have as many gaps in the lineup as we have from time to time on consistent hitters, you're going to run into just incredibly frustrating stretches of offensive baseball. And that's what this team is. And, does that mean that they can't rally the troops and find a way to get to the postseason with what we got? No. But I always harpen back to the defense and pitching because that's why we've, for most of this season have found a way to win games. And Marte is going to be a whipping stick to a certain extent. And I guess ultimately, you know what I would say, Nick, is either the trade deadline and who they decide to go out and get could be somewhat of a forced hand there. That could be a possibility of competition, if we want to call it that. The other thing is Sal Stewart is on the horizon. That's a possibility as well. So they're going to have a decision to make with Marte. They clearly don't trust his defense, whether you think they should or shouldn't, but they take him out in the 7th and 8th innings of any game where you would consider a defensive replacement to be able to come into. They take him out. So that tips their hand on what they believe. And you have plays like tonight that I wouldn't call them routine. I wouldn't even call them like a huge gaffe. But I would say that out of the 2 plays, you would like your third baseman to make one of them. And it really even kind of opens up even more of a wound when the ground ball goes through your third baseman. And then for whatever reason, the left fielder's maybe playing. Again, I don't know where he was playing, but Hayes took a while to get to that baseball. And he had an 80-foot throw, Nick, maybe a 90-foot throw to second base to get the guy out at second base to kind of kill the momentum of the Dodgers, and he was incapable. He threw the ball like 6 feet offline. So that to me was the kind of the deciding moment or the defining moment of this game is Marte not being able to make a couple plays, and then unfortunately Hayes not being able to throw a guy out at second base. I don't know how you feel about it, but that to me was kind of the difference in the game.
Yeah, I mean the Reds have made some pretty big strides this year defensively. I mean they're still not great by any means, but I mean this was an organization that had been absolutely at the bottom of baseball for the last 4 or 5 years in a row, and this year ranks closer to the middle of the pack. Entering today, they're 17th in baseball and outs above average. I think they were similar in defensive runs saved. So the 17th might not feel like a lot, but when it's been 27th, 28th year after year, 17th feels like quite a big jump. But yeah, Noelvi Marte, it's he's got to be better. That was exactly my thought, was he's got to make one of those 2 plays. I'm completely with you on that. That was exactly what I thought during the game. And I don't know. I feel like he can get better. I feel like you see some flashes. That it's hard. And the Reds are in a weird spot too, where is moving him to right field better for the 2025 Reds? I think you could probably say there's a good chance it is. Is taking him off of third base better for the Reds long term? That's where I don't know if it is the right thing. Because I do think he could be at least a competent third baseman. And that's a really valuable player. So
it all depends on Nick who's going to be behind him, in my opinion. That matters a lot. Let's just say, for instance, I'm going to throw out a hypothetical, right? Let's just say Elly doesn't exist in Noelvi Marte is still a shortstop, and he comes up here. We would be saying to ourselves, like, well, you might not love everything you like about him at shortstop, but but the fact of the matter is you have someone that's just better than him there, so you don't even worry about it, right? So like if you find somebody at third base that's just better than he is, and you can just unequivocally say, we know that he's better there, then you can start to justify, okay, well, let's see how he can do in the outfield. He's got the speed, and as I've said, I think it takes away all of the throwing mechanical stuff that I think gets in his head from time to time. My biggest concern, Nick, of all of this is that it bleeds over to his offense. Everyone always worries about your offense bleeding into your defense. Like if you're a good defensive player, if you start struggling at the plate, do you let that affect you and you don't play good defense? Don't take your bat out into the field, as some would say. I worry about it being the opposite for Noelvi, because it just seems like they don't show any they don't show any signs of confidence in him at all. And on top of that, he has struggled to make some plays, and it just feels like that kind of mounts on him. And let's not forget, he almost made a throwing error the other day as well, but Steer made a really, really excellent play up the line, caught the ball, swipe tag. So no one remembers that because it wasn't a huge thing. But if that ball gets airmailed, or Spencer Steer doesn't make a good play on it, then all of a sudden we're back to square one on that. So I just think that it depends on what the Reds do at the deadline. It also depends on what Sal Stewart is going to do. If he's going to be a competent, very, very good third baseman, we don't even consider it, Nick. I think he moves to the outfield, and it would be like Tatis moving to the outfield, where you're just like, oh, that's just how it goes. He's fine out there.
Yeah, I do caution like getting too over. All right, well, Sal Stewart's our third base. We move because I feel like we've done that before, and it's bit us. And Sal Stewart can also play second base at a pretty good level. I think he's probably a better second baseman, at least from what I've seen, than a third baseman. And let's just say I believe in Matt McClain, but let's say Matt McClain never does figure it out. Well, that gives you at least a option to put Stewart there. And if you've just full on sold on the idea of Marte at third base and moved to right field, there's no Marte at third base. You know what I mean? It makes it kind of hard to go back. So they're tough decisions. Like I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't feel super strongly convicted one way or the other. Like it's one of those things. If the Reds say, hey, we're going to stick him out in right field, I'm going to say, oh, all right, I'm going to trust your judgment on that. If they say we're going to continue to ride him out on third base, I'm going to say, yeah, I'll trust your judgment on that, because I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion. I see the benefits on both sides.
I think it's pretty evident to me, Nick, that they think he's going to be in the outfield. And I'm not saying, to be clear, I'm not saying I'm out on him at third base, right? It's like there's just not enough sample size for me to sit here and have a huge, strong opinion about it. Like I've just not seen it long enough. Like there's been other players that I've watched on this team play a defensive position long enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm done with this. I've seen plenty of it. The metrics are there. Everything's telling me they can't play this position. And oh, by the way, they're still proving that case as we speak right now. But I also think that the Reds clearly are not trying to hide how they feel about him. I'll be shocked if he's not playing the outfield next year. Now, that's either going to come of one of two ways, in my opinion. One, they do believe in Sal Stewart, and I'm not saying that you like that or don't. Or two, they go out in the offseason and or at the trade deadline and find a player that they like enough to play that position. And we'll see. I don't know how much financial flexibility the Reds have and whether or not they're capitalizing on going out and getting, again, this is in the offseason, not right now, because I think Eugenio Suarez as well took a fastball. So I don't know if he's actually hurt or not. This has nothing to do with this trade deadline, to be clear. Eugenio Suarez is also perhaps a free agent clearly at the end of the year. So there's even a chance that the Reds could make an offer there and he wants to come back. And, I don't know if Eugenio would take less money to come back to the Reds, but I think if it comes down to the wire and there's two teams that are neck and neck and Eugenio had a choice to pick between the two of them, it seems like we would be the leader in the clubhouse. I mean, he left on relatively decent terms in regards to his love for the city, and I think that he would be happy to come back. It's not a Lorenzen situation. So, at least I don't think it is. But any other thoughts here in this game and or more, I guess? I know that we have Chase Burns to get to before, but we'll do the Super Chats and we'll do 988 before we get to him.
And Suarez clearly is not going to be expecting more than a couple of years. So he fits into the Reds kind of plans so well. My last thought on Marte is well, you know what? The cool thing is that we're having this conversation. I mean, because 4 months ago, who would have thought we'd be having a conversation? Where do you put Noelvi Marte's bat? How do you get his bat in the lineup? Right. So it is cool for him that he's at least forced that conversation. And I also really like the fact that he seemed to have a really positive attitude about there hasn't been no hanging his head that he got pulled from the game early. Seems like he's run with, hey, I'll go wherever, I'll play in right field. Shout out to him for that. The one thing I will say, and I want to ask you this, I love position flexibility players. I've obviously made that a point over the years. I kind of want them, though, with Marte. He's one of those, him and Elly are like maybe the two guys. I want them to figure out what spot they're going to put him in and leave him there. I don't really want to see him moving around a whole lot.
No, I don't think he will either. But he's not a guy that you're going to be like, hey, he can be like Spencer Steer, right? And first of all, I don't know if he's going to be capable to having, I guess the skill set to be flexible enough to move all around the diamond and still produce at the plate and, play defensively at league average at best and or maybe a little bit above league average in any other positions. If you're going to stick him in the outfield, I think you rip the Band-Aid off and you just do it and you stick with it, and you might have to go through some growing pains at the beginning of his career at being out there, like you would with anybody else that's just starting to learn a new position. But again, I want to reiterate, he has the speed. I mean, I think that's maybe one of the most underappreciated things of his game. Like, I don't think that there's really that many fans that really know how fast Noelvi is. He is a very, very good runner. Now, again, there's more to outfield play than just that. You got to have a good beat on the ball. You got to take good angles. You got to have a good read off the bat. There's all these different types of things that make a good outfielder. But I think it's not a far-fetched idea to think that he couldn't be at least a league average outfielder if you stick him out there. And then you get his bat in the lineup and you move forward. So it'll be interesting to see what you have with him. But tonight's or I guess today, games like tonight, pretty much they kind of reiterate what Tito feels. I mean, to be fair to Tito, when he pulls him out in the 7th or 8th inning, we get frustrated, and it is frustrating a little bit, but I can't blame him anymore, because it's like, if you're in a 2-0 baseball game and that inning happens and you're asking yourself, are we really going to risk Hill maybe coming up one more time with a 2-0 lead or a 3-1 lead, and you have Santiago Espinal sitting on the bench who we've had our disagreements on the way that he's been utilized, but you can't take it away from the fact that Santiago Espinal is a very good defender. And I guess, if anything, he makes the plays that are in front of him more vast. I don't want to jinx him, but a significant amount of the time. I'm sure his outs above average, I think, slack a little bit, because I don't know if he has the range that maybe a guy like Marte would have. So he's not going to get too many of those, what I would call non-routine plays. But when you're looking for a defensive replacement, I think you're looking for something that's safe and solid, and that is what that is what Espinal is. So. All right, folks, if you are interested, I want everybody to know, throw the Smoke Justice thing up on the screen really fast, if you don't mind, Nick. We are going to be tomorrow at Smoke Justice from 4:30 to 6:30. Come hang out, maybe grab some cold ones with us. We're going to head over to the ballpark right afterwards and go see if the Redlegs can't find a way to win a baseball game against the Los Angeles Dodgers. First 50 people will get a free Chatterbox t-shirt, so come out and support us, and hopefully you guys can meet each other. I know there's a lot of people in the chat that obviously have a good time from time to time, and perhaps you want to meet each other. That'd be a great place to do it. And I just want to say also, Smoke Justice, supported us, supported our channel, and really supported this specific show. So really, really, really fun night tomorrow, and I look forward to it. And hopefully we will see as many people as humanly possible there. I'd love to just pack that place to where they tell us we have to go home. 988, also a very good resource. Please remember, it is okay to not be okay. You can text and or call 988 day or night. It's an anonymous hotline 24/7. You can also visit mantherapy.org as well. Mantherapy.org as well, if you're ever in a time where you feel like you might need some help. So if you haven't already, hit the like button. That'd be fantastic for us. I'd love that, and we would very much appreciate it. I hate asking for those stupid things, but for whatever dumb reason, YouTube prioritizes stupid stuff like that. So might not think like it's a big deal, but if you don't mind, hit that little thumbs up button either on your phone and or on your desktop. If you're watching on the TV, then I don't know what you do with that situation, but maybe you'll like it on your phone later. All right, Chase Burns. I think it's easy to sit here and criticize this kid, Nick. I really do. I think you're going to be able to go back and look at the box score, and you're going to be able to say, well, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. Some are going to say, he throws his fastballs just not on the corners enough. His breaking balls aren't in the right spots enough. And I would just say, I got to tell you, I'm not saying he's perfect, because he's certainly not. But, man, he has the stuff. He has the stuff. He's got the swing and miss stuff when he needs it. And to reiterate what we just talked about, I think if he gets just a little bit of help, Nick, and also a little bit of help from the umpire, not to just keep throwing that guy under the bus, I think it could be a little bit of a different night. I do. I don't think that it balloons into the manner that it did, and it really wasn't all that out of control regardless. But it just goes to show you, it's a team game. You're relying on a lot of guys, and he strikes out a guy, and Tyler Stevenson doesn't catch the ball, right? Like, we didn't get burned on it, thankfully. That Spencer Steer made a really, really nice play, and then he ended up getting a strikeout to get out of that jam. But, Nick, I get that. I get that everyone's going to talk about Kurtz. Okay, I'm not an idiot. You can play the hypothetical game all you want, right? I mean, there's no doubt. Can we get this out of the way from the Reds fan base right now? That guy might end up being a Hall of Fame player. He might be the world's greatest hitter ever. I don't know. But I'm not going to sit here and do this song and dance every single time of one of his starts and be like, oh, look, we should have done this, we should have done that. He's on our team. The dude's on our team. You can't go back and fix it. It's over with. Chase Burns is a Cincinnati Red, and I appreciate the hell out of what he's doing for this team. I mean, he whether you like to say he got rushed through the system or not, I think he's ready. I still will stand by that. I think he's ready. He's going through a little bit of growing pains from time to time, and I don't think he's gotten a whole lot of hell of a help. If this baseball team would catch the ball behind him, I think that there's a few starts that I can come to think of that would have been a whole hell of a lot easier for him. So I appreciate Chase Burns, simply put.
It is wild that you have a pitcher that's like already in the big leagues that clearly like showing that he's a legit big leaguer, has all the promise in the world, and there's one guy in the draft that we could have picked that got picked fourth. Two other teams passed on him too. Like I don't know. That to me, I don't know. That's really Monday morning quarterback. You could do that with every draft. I mean, if you draft a number 2 overall and the guy ends up being an all-star, like you don't sit there and go, oh well, we could have got the guy that's a Hall of Fame. Like it is what it is, man. It's really, really hard. I thought Burns, today, 5 2/3, 3 runs, 1 walk against the Dodgers when his defense wasn't very good, when the umpire was atrocious. I thought he did a hell of a job. Just the fact that he fits into that stat is ridiculous. He's the second Red since 1900 to have 10 strikeouts in 3 straight starts. That's not a rookie. That's any Reds pitcher in the history of this franchise. And there's been some really, good strikeout pitchers, especially in recent memory. Just the fact that he's doing that already, and he's still incredibly raw. Yes, there's still things he needs to tune up, like that at bat to Freddie Freeman, where I think he threw 3 straight fastballs. He got away with it, but I was like, yeah, I don't think I would do that consistently. But he clearly has all the talent in the world, and he's just going to get better and better. And he kind of I don't know, kind of feels like on the Hunter Greene trajectory, like he's already maybe skipped that first year of Hunter Greene. Like he's Hunter Greene, he's already Hunter Greene had maybe 30 starts, and Chase Burns just already skipped to the 30th start in his development and where he's at. Well, time will tell. We'll see, but yeah, I have a lot of faith in Chase Burns, and so far he's been awesome.
He's been excellent, and I think that again, he's just not got a lot of help defensively. That I keep pointing back to that. I know that he could get himself out of those jams from time to time, and one thing shouldn't lead to the next. But you can even go back to that Boston series where I guess he was tipping his pitches, and obviously that's going to skew the numbers pretty heavily, pretty significantly. And I'm not saying he should just wipe that game off the face of the map and act like everything's perfectly fine, but I think it's pretty evident that he was tipping his pitches, which is a big deal. And I want to remind everybody that Matt McClain made a pretty sizable error in that game that could have got him out of the inning, and maybe he settles down, and I don't know, maybe it looks a little bit different. But tonight, Marte had 2 opportunities to make a play. Hayes had an opportunity to throw a guy out. I'm not trying to kill Hayes, but I think he throws that guy 8 out of 10 times. He throws that guy out 8 out of 10 times, in my opinion. He just made an unfortunate rush throw that was wide left by about 6 feet, and it just was nowhere close enough to being good. And Stevenson, I don't know, just whether you want to say he got mixed up, which I have a hard time believing because of pitch comm, but he dropped strike 3 on a ball that's not even really that far off the plate. So, I don't think that many good, rational, understanding fans are probably on Chase Burns' case, so I shouldn't make that big of a deal about it. But I just think that there's a lot of people that are just, I don't know if they just want to be negative on purpose because they know how well Kurtz is playing and how good he looks, and they could have made that play. But like, they don't ever bring up Bazana. They don't ever bring up Condon. They don't ever bring up these guys that aren't in the big leagues, that aren't playing unbelievable. They just bring up the one guy that is, and I get why, because it fits their narrative. But let's be a little, like, let's just be fair to Chase Burns. That's all I'm saying. Like, it just seems ridiculous if we're going to act like this guy isn't throwing the ball incredibly well, and you're going to point to the fact that he's 0-3 and he has a 6-something ERA. I don't know. Like, I just go back to the old line, like, shake yourself, you know? Like, figure it out. That's all.
He's 22 years old. Andrew Abbott is 26, just for like some comparison's sake. Like, he's 22. I think it's great that he's in the big leagues this year. I think it's great that he's kind of getting this out. Wherever this Red season goes,
Yeah.
I think this season is huge for him. And hopefully, you know, push him a little bit, not crazy. Like, I'm not,
Right. Yeah.
I'm not having the guy, you know, we're going to run him all the way into the last days. No, I think you push him, you know, respectfully, and it'll be huge for him when you hope that, you know, the Reds next year and the next year, like, really have this, you know, hopefully this team that can become one of the juggernauts in the National League. And he would be a big part of that.
I hope the decision they make with Chase Burns is the one that you can see with your own eyes, right? Like, either he seems to be wearing down a la Andrew Abbott has in the past, or you're not really in a race that seems meaningful anymore, so you're kind of just burning up innings. But if he looks good and he feels good and he expresses that he feels strong and all of his underlying metrics point to the fact that he hasn't missed a beat, and this baseball team has meaningful games left, I hope we stay the course. And again, let me be very clear. I'm not just doing it to do it just because there's games that you need to win to get into the postseason. But I'm saying, let's not just assume that we're doing a guy any favors by shutting him down because he's got, you know, a certain amount of innings underneath his belt, and that was just the number you arbitrarily said at the beginning of the year that you think they should stay at. Let's just use the metrics as the resource to say he's wearing down or he's not. Does he feel good or does he not? Is he performing or is he not? That's what I think a good franchise would and should do. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And hopefully we do cross that bridge, because that means the Reds are playing meaningful baseball and they're still within a race. All right, let's jump into Reds MILB. We have a little bit of who, what, when, where, and why coming right up. But before you do that, Nick, I do want to get to the Super Chats because I've been pretty bad on those tonight. So Jacob Doyle says, I've decided to put blind faith in the front office for this deadline. They are the ones who have built this thing up, and they won't be reckless. Jacob, yeah, I mean, listen, I think that's the easiest way to go about the deadline, personally, from just like a ease of mind situation, right? Like, you can't control it. You got to trust the fact that those guys are going to do what they think's in the best interest of the Reds, and you hope it works out. In regards to being a little bit fair to the what would we call the other side, the dark side of Reds fandom, like, what have they built? Like you say, they've built this thing up. Let's not act like they're leading the division by 10 games, and you know we're getting better and better. We have some consistency, yes, but I also don't want to sit here and make it sound like, you know, they've conquered the world. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, they are 5 games over 500 with a small payroll.
They are,
and their biggest contract has been a bust.
Let's just not act like they're the Brewers, okay? That's all. Like that's all.
They're not, but you know, they're what they've built is the reason that people want to buy right now.
It's fair. I'm not downplaying them, but I'm just saying, let's not act like, you know. We'll meet in the middle, Nick. We'll meet in the middle. Future Talent says, Gino's injured. No more trade for rental, hopefully.
X-rays were negative.
Yeah, my guess is he's fine. X-rays are negative. I guess there'll be an MRI if I had to guess. You're also gonna have to pass a physical if you get traded anyways. So the new team or whoever they get traded to is probably gonna inspect that whole situation about as much as you humanly could, especially if it's a rental.
Just better not be the guy that inspected Christian Encarnacion Strand's hand.
I like that. We've gotten Nick doing accents tonight, baby. You're not wrong though. I mean, whatever that guy was from. I don't know if they were from West Virginia, Pennsylvania. I'm not sure exactly what dialect that was from. Maybe it's from Cleveland. I'm not sure where you're from, but whoever checked out Christian Encarnacion Strand's hand better not be doing that. And I would agree with him. We'll see. I mean, like, it's. I guess the point that Nick was trying to make yesterday, and I think that the issue that we got into yesterday was that for those that watch the show, like you start the show, you have some technical issues. Nick's frustrated because of other things that are going on, and I ask him some questions that he wasn't paying attention to. Then all of a sudden, it's like, wow. Point is, the main point of yesterday's show, in my opinion, is nothing's off the table. But it doesn't mean that something's on the table no matter what. Like, you can't just automatically say, we're 100% doing this because you just don't know what the deal is. Gino, as much as I said, what was that, a week and a half ago, Nick? I think I even said, can we just get off the Gino train? Like, can we just be done with that? Stop worrying about it? I'll tell you this right now. And I still believe this. If you get down to that deadline, which throw that clock up there, Nick. I don't know how long do we got. I'm sure my voice has been popping the whole show, so we might as well just throw it up there for good measure. 2 days and 19 hours. If you're telling me that Gino is still there in 2 days and 19 hours and 5 minutes, and you call up the Diamondbacks and you say, "Are you guys really gonna let this guy play the rest of the year for you, and then end up having to give him a qualifying offer?" At his age, and then he's going to accept that qualifying offer, and then you're going to turn around and regret that next year? Are you really going to do that? Or do you want to trade him over here, and I'll give you some decent prospects, and we can go both ball and Romero? And they got 3 minutes to make that decision, and we get, now I know this is all fairy tale, but you never know. I'll leave it at that. Gino might be, put it this way, if Gino's on our baseball team, we're a better baseball team. Just depends on what you're getting him for. That's all. Jay Tenzel says the Dodgers are the better team by far. Yeah, that's not breaking news. That's a good assessment. There's a big gap from the top to under the table, which is where you can. Almost got me, Jay Tenzel. Almost got me, but you didn't get me. That's the thing. Didn't Ron Burgundy that one? Noah says, can't wait to meet you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we can have a comeback. I don't know if that was before the game or if you're talking about tomorrow, but nonetheless, hopefully tomorrow there's no comeback needed. We just jump out to an early lead and we ride that thing all the way home for a victory. Big Red Machine. I've always said I love the Big Red Machine. He says, regarding Burns, innings with less than 12 pitches should not count towards innings for the season. I just think that whole thing's so stupid, man. It's just so stupid. I don't know why we got to do it.
I don't think I haven't heard the Reds say there isn't,
and they haven't
any cap on him. He was wearing. I should know this. He was wearing some sort of band during spring training. They have some technology that they're doing, so I don't really think that actually is a thing. I think they are going to monitor him based on. I think they're going to actually use some legitimate sports science on this, and also some eye tests and kind of a factor of that. But I have heard nothing in terms of he's capped at 140 innings. So
that's fair. That's a good point by you. I haven't heard that either, and I don't think that. I hope they don't do it. We'll see. Final thing, Harrow, member of 21 months, man. Holy smokes. We've had membership for 21 months on this channel.
Yeah.
Golly, we're getting old. We're getting old. I'm getting old. This channel's getting old. You guys are the best. He says, where's the next 513 golf course? I believe the next one that'll be on there will be Walden Ponds. I do believe. I think that one's going to be funny, too. I don't know if there's good golf involved, but I'm pretty sure it's funny. All right, folks. that does it for the Supers. We're going to jump into some Reds MILB on a Monday night. I know that's always pretty dry, but
you got some real big Reds MILB today.
Let's see.
The DSL Reds are leading the DSL Orioles 8-0. Game got suspended in the bottom of the fourth. None of our prospects played in that game. And the DSL Rojos got rained out. That is your Reds MILB for the evening.
Love that.
Can I clarify something?
Please, yeah.
Because I had someone in the chat, and I'm not criticizing the guy in the chat, said, someone tell Kirby that that we should want Luis Robert. I'm going to say his name right for once.
Yes.
Robert.
Thank you.
I'm going to say his name right. Let me make sure I make my stance on Robert very clear. I did not want Robert in the offseason when you were going to have to give up 4 prospects for him, which, by the way, I think was probably the right call. We'll leave it there. I am all for it now. I'm all for it now that you're not paying. I don't think. I'm all for it now if it's not one of these ridiculous hauls. Now, I know that they were wanting Mark Vientos from the Mets. 1 for 1, I'm a little bit more on, but if you're talking giving up 4 legitimate top prospects for a guy that has as much risk as Robert does, I'm not for it. Now, if you're talking giving up 1 prospect that I like, just 1 for it, yeah, I'm a lot more inclined on that. So I'm much more on buying Robert now, buying him low. I just wasn't buying him. It felt like in the offseason you were buying high on a guy that shouldn't be bought high on.
I think what you're trying to say is that Nick typically would like to purchase the bottles of water outside the stadium for $1.
Hell yeah.
Than to walk into the stadium and have to pay $10.
Pretty much.
And that's a fair point. The bottle of the water, relatively the same. You would have been proud of me, by the way.
That might be a top 5 analogy on the show.
Gosh, that means all of my other analogies have been pretty bad. But go ahead.
Well, someone asked me. He asked me read his splits against lefties. I was looking this up the other day. We were talking about this actually.
After the show. Yeah.
Like he has a 966 OPS against left-handed pitchers this year.
Yeah.
Like he has a 422 on base percentage against lefties. He hasn't even been his best self, and he has destroyed lefties. So worst case scenario, I think you're getting a massive upgrade against lefties. And I still think against right-handed pitchers, you're getting a guy that has a chance to be decent. So yeah, I'm all for Robert. I'm not. Suarez is better, but I don't think the gap between Suarez and Robert's potential, especially when you factor in what you're giving up, and the fact that you still have a chance if Robert plays really well, you still have him for 2 more years. You basically have an audition for a couple months at Great American Ballpark in a team that's hopefully competing for a playoff spot. So yeah, I'm all for Robert right now.
I think we both like Robert a lot, and I think we like him for pretty much the same reason, and that is sometimes you feel like guys just need a new scenery to have a bounce back, and I think that's the case for Robert. No disrespect. I'm not going to talk down on the Chicago White Sox, but I could understand someone's morale maybe being a little low playing for that team. Like last year, and even, I don't know, I haven't kept tabs on the White Sox, so I would feel really bad if they were like around a 500 team. I highly doubt that they are. But point is that I think that you get yourself on a team with the likes of the Elly De La Cruzes of the world again, and you find a little bit of life, and you're just a different player. And I think that Robert is a guy that has the ceiling that we need to get to a special place, period. Eugenio Suarez, as much as I love Eugenio Suarez, and I think that Jim Day would be doing great bits again, and we'd have the whole team back together, I just have a hesitation with him because, let's face it, how many times have you seen guys have unbelievable, kind of first halves, or it's a little more than first half at this point, to be fair to Eugenio, but then it just kind of subsides because you always are who you are on the back of your baseball card, and that's what it kind of feels like with Eugenio. You go to another team, they're expecting a whole hell of a lot out of you. You're going to start to maybe try to press a little bit because you know how much they feel like they need you. and then it just doesn't go the way you hoped. To be clear, I'll take Eugenio if you're telling me that it's a good value. But I definitely think a guy like Robert, this team struggles against left-handed pitching. Like, let's face it. When a lefty throws, Nick, we inevitably look at the lineup, and there's always those comments underneath the lineup card that are, oh my gosh, like this is brutal. There's no way this team's going to score. Well, that helps. I mean, one bat, as we've seen this year, can go a long way. Austin Hayes is a perfect example of one bat entering your lineup and feeling like it changes the whole look of the lineup and the feel of it. Because we've seen what this looks like without Hayes in the lineup before earlier this year, and we've seen what he's capable of doing when he's in it. You add in another, again, I think that's what we need, Austin Hayes type of player, and I think that can genuinely get us to another level. The debate that we were trying to have yesterday, Nick, is that level even good enough? I think that's the fair debate to be had. And it's a fair debate, and there's no doubt about it. Is that, if you go up a level, is that even good enough? And I think it's fair to say, there's a lot of fans that'd like to find that out. And I don't think any of us are against that. All right.
And
go ahead.
And also, like, this is also part of my point. Like, I know no one wants to think about this happening. I know everyone's just like, hey, forget about this happening. But there's a possibility, look, the Reds go out, they lose 8 of their next 10, and they're out of the race right away. All right? And if you trade for Eugenio Suarez, now you have a player that's, I mean, maybe, like, you don't really have that big of a leg up on signing him. Like, you can't offer him a qualifying offer because you didn't have him a whole year. And honestly, you have a guy that's almost playing a position that, well, you kind of maybe would rather see Marte or Sal Stewart playing that. But like, there's a downside to that. With Robert, let's say the exact same scenario happens. Okay, well, there's clearly plenty of spots in the outfield for him to play. Right. And he's still auditioning to see if he's a solution for 2026 and 2027. So that's what I like, because it's not like your chips aren't all in on Suarez and all in on this year. Yes, Robert has a chance to really, really help you this year, but you're also still thinking ahead as well. And I just want them to be doing both. That's where I'm at. Really on this whole thing.
If Robert, and again, I'm just saying, like, if Robert bounced back and let's just say was pretty serviceable towards the end of this year, but then let's just say even next season bounces back and has one more of those, what you would call like significant elite type level seasons, would anyone be like shocked about it? Like,
no,
I don't think anyone would be. And that's kind of the point of this whole thing. That's why I get excited if you told me that Luis Robert is going to be a part of this team, because I just think that he brings something to the table that we just don't have that many guys that are like that. We don't. Like, as much as we want, and I guess this is where I get in trouble when I do this stuff, because people are going to get mad at me. But like, as much as we want Jake Fraley or Will Benson or like even TJ Friedl, right? Like, he's been as good as we could have ever imagined. But his ceiling is never, in my opinion, going to be even close to what Luis Roberts is going to be. Not even remotely close. The only guy on this baseball team that's ceiling is like that is, in my opinion, Elly De La Cruz, and maybe you could convince me of Noelvi Marte. Maybe. And like, if for all the people that want to gamble, like, let's do it. Like, let's go Riverboat Casinoing. Let's Riverboat Casino on guys that you tell me suck, that I think might not suck. That's what, what's funny about it all? We kind of have the same mentality in a different way. Like what we were doing with Will Benson earlier this year, and everybody screaming and yelling at us and telling us that we're fanboys of Will Benson and you guys are so clueless. He sucks. He's a quadruple A player. All we were saying was, I'd like to take the gamble. Yeah, he might suck. Like he very much might. He might go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts when you bring him up in San Francisco, and you never see him again, and he comes back and he's still not a great player. But I do know this, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but I'll say it one last time. I'd rather just die on the hill of a guy that could possibly help us than go run out guys like Garrett Hampson and Connor Joe and Santiago Espinal playing first base. And again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to these guys, but like, let's just use a little bit of brain power when it comes to what ceilings mean. And all ceilings mean to me is, if things go perfectly, where does that put you? And that, to me, would put you in a spot where you genuinely have a team that could go win a division. If you have one of the league's best outfielders, and you have one of the league's best shortstops, and you have one of the league's best starting rotations, and you have a serviceable bullpen, and maybe you get some production out of your second baseman, and maybe you go and get a first base or DH that has some power. Then you got a baseball team. Then we're not doing this song and dance of do you buy or sell. You know what we'd have then? We'd have a damn baseball team that we would be talking about. Let's win. Let's worry about our postseason rankings and whether or not we get home field advantage. And I'm not saying we'd be the Chiefs or the Patriots of the old world, but we'd be like the Baltimore Ravens, perhaps, or maybe I know that people get pissed off because I just use an in-house opponent against them, but at some point you'd be like the Green Bay Packers of old, where you just know you're going to the postseason. You know you're going to the postseason because you're good enough, and that's what this team needs to get. And hopefully Luis Robert is a guy we get at the deadline. And you know what? If he doesn't help us this year, I got hope that he will help next year. So, go ahead.
Someone asked who I'd give up for him. I think if you're looking blind prospect rankings, the furthest I think I'd be willing to go would be like the Reds' number 9 prospect, Sammy Stafora. Maybe. I need to know a little bit more internal thoughts on him, because we haven't seen a whole lot. He's down at Daytona. Hector Rodriguez is so hot right now. He might be a sell high guy. So I think that would be. I don't think Edwin Arroyo. I know everyone wants to move him. I don't know. I don't want to sell low on him right now. So probably Sephora down would be what I would be looking at.
And I would also say, people in the chat are asking how much Robert's making. He's making a lot of money. And that also buys into the idea that you could possibly pay for keeping some prospects around. I mean, that's exactly what you'd be doing. And as far as the Reds having, I'm not saying they have all the money in the world, but they have some guys coming off the books that are making a little bit of money. I mean, Martinez, for one. I'm not saying that's a perfect trade. People are going to say, maybe we should save that money and divvy it out, but they have some money. It's not like they're completely strapped for cash when it comes to dollars and cents this offseason. Go ahead.
I have one final thought here.
Just say it.
I think Austin Hayes is trending towards a qualifying offer.
I mean, okay. How much is that going to cost? Just so I know.
It was 21 million. I remember. I probably was around this time of the year. Maybe it was a little later. I said Nick Martinez might get a qualifying offer, and I remember I got a lot of no way he's going to get a qualifying offer. And I mean, yeah, he was the National League Pitcher of the Month in September, so he played out of his mind. But Joel Luckup had I don't know what you call a tweet on Blue Sky. He said something on Blue Sky about Hayes and his production versus the free agent outfielder signings. And when you compare it, it's are you sure you just don't want to take another chance at Austin Hayes at $21 million on a one year deal, not one of these 5-year deals? I don't know. I mean, he's got to obviously have a much better bill of health the last 50 something games of the year. But if he stays healthy the next 50 games and produces anything close to what he's done this year, I think I'd give him a qualifying offer.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet. I need to see more. I'm not. It really, the thing that concerns me the most with him really is another year older and a guy that has had an issue staying on the field. That's maybe the biggest concern. It's not even that I think that he's not capable of playing the way that he's played this year. I don't think it's a fluke. I think he's a good hitter. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. I just have to look. I have to take a really hard look and ask myself if I can swallow that. And a lot of that depends, I guess, on the cash that's available to me and the market and who's available and really what all that looks like. So we'll see. Those decisions can be made at a later date. But as a reminder, please. I know we've discussed this at length, but we will be not on the post-game show tomorrow. We will have a show, right, Nick? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Craig and Clay. I mean, you're getting
That's big time.
I mean, to be honest, you're probably getting an upgrade.
Maybe better. Yeah. Some are saying it's better. Trust me,
Well,
there's many people.
Especially with hopefully no crackling. I mean, I think Craig's got a mic, Clay's got a mic. I mean,
yeah, it's true. Yeah, way to throw me under the bus. Thanks, Nick. Yeah.
I would blame the crackling on me. It's my fault.
No, I don't think it is. I think
It's a piece of technology I'm throwing into the
no, well, I don't think it's your fault. I just think that for some reason, yeah, the graphic package is making I don't know what.
I don't think I've heard it in a while though.
Really?
Knock on wood. I don't think I've heard it for the last 10 minutes. I don't know. Maybe I've just become
10 minutes. Chat, do me a favor as we wind this show down. Has it been popping for a long time? Because I do want to say something, Nick. When you did come back after we did the something in the show, I don't know if it was the box score recap or if we did the 988 super chats, whatever it is. I did make adjustments. I am throwing Hail Marys right now. I changed. You know how you have 1 through 4 on the overlays that you can choose? I went to number 2 instead of using number 1. I don't know. Maybe that'll work. So who knows? No static. Some people are saying no static, but now it could be the fact that they're listening to on their phone or something. So who knows? We're saying not really.
I'm not sure if it's like when I worked at a restaurant and you just all of a sudden you don't hear the beeping anymore on the oven.
Exactly. Yeah. Those poor McDonald's workers. Sometimes I think to myself, dude, they're gonna go home and they're gonna hear beep, 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 beep,
You do.
beep, beep. I'm like, is somebody gonna get that machine? And I just think that they're all back there, and that's just part of their rhythm. Their heart beats to it. I don't know. People are saying that it's not popping. I don't know. We'll see. We will find out. But I do know this. Hopefully, folks. You know what's funny? Last thing I'm going to say before we head off, and we'll do who, what, when, where, and why. I think people there are shows when you get off of them and you feel like you did a decent job illustrating how you feel, or you did a good job of eloquently trying to get through a show and have good points and maybe bring up proper discussions and have fun with some humor from there and here and there. You genuinely do degrade your shows in a little bit in your own mind of whether or not you feel like you did a good job. I will say, and I'm not saying this because of you, Nick, I will say yesterday was it was a bad show on my end for sure, because I just wasn't there. I mean, I was genuinely trying to circumvent the fact that we had some technical stuff, and then I threw you under the bus a little bit. So I think people think that we don't want. They were more on your case, obviously, because you were flustered as well. But for people that think we don't want the Reds to win, whatever, it's like you, with all due respect, I'm not trying to be a dick when I say this. It's quite literally our livelihoods, man. I think there would be nothing better in the world than the Reds winning for us, which is why we take it personal from time to time when maybe people think we don't want them to win. But more importantly, I think what we're trying to illustrate more times than not when we have a discussion on these things is we don't want them to get in a position where we find ourselves being the Pirates or the Rockies or the White Sox. Or, I'm sure I'm missing some teams right now that are you're just not even close to being relevant because you are a piss poor organization who has no plan. I think most people understand that. So,
yeah, I did not articulate my points at all the way I wanted to last night. No, yeah, last night I feel good tonight though. I feel I enjoyed tonight. I had a good time.
Yeah,
last night it just got off the rails and it was. And of course, it was our most watched show of the year.
Yeah, of course, but that's okay. I mean, who knows? Maybe this will be the next one in line. But I just want to say thank you. There's a lot of people that tune in here every single night. We'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Last promo, Smoke Justice tomorrow. We will be there from 4:30 to 6:30. Please come say hi if you have a chance to. We will be giving out free T-shirts, and most importantly, we will then be heading over to Great American Ballpark to cheer on the Red Legs and see if we can't find a way to win. So, speaking of which, we have a little who, what, when, where, and why tomorrow, July 29th. Take it away, Nick.
All right. Nick Lodolo against Tyler Glasnow. Lodolo coming off his complete game shutout against the Nationals. 1.85 ERA over his last 7 starts. Lodolo has never faced the Dodgers in his career. Only active hitters that have faced him, Tommy Edman is 2 for 5. Rojos is 1 for 3, Conforto 1 for 2, and Esteury Ruiz is 0 for 2. Tyler Glass now has been incredible. Last 3 starts since coming off the IL. 18 innings, 2 earned runs. That's a 1 even ERA. 5 walks, 23 strikeouts. Reds have hit him pretty well in his career. Career 4.55 ERA in 12 games. Now, most of those games were when he was a reliever with the Pittsburgh Pirates before they got absolutely fleeced on a trade deadline trade. Only faced the Reds once since leaving Pittsburgh. That was last year. And Reds put up 4 runs off him in 5 innings. Will Benson homered off him last year. Hayes is the only player that's seen him a lot. He's 3 for 13 with a homer. So big game tomorrow. Lodolo's pitching well. I kind of like the Dodgers have never seen him before. I think that's it kind of gives you a little bit of an advantage. Programming throughout the week. Tomorrow we want you down at Smoke Justice, but it will be streamed if you're someone that's out of town. So we will have that broadcast 4:30 to 6:30, and then obviously normal post-game show Wednesday. We'll do some sort of trade deadline special on trade deadline day. We'll for sure be live through the actual end of the deadline. If the Reds haven't made any moves, probably they'll try to go live about 2 o'clock or so and stay on all afternoon. But if the Reds make a bunch of moves on Wednesday, I'm probably not going to come on for 5 hours on trade deadline day. So we'll see. And then, then we got day game Friday, Bristol Saturday. So it's going to be a jam-packed week here on Chatterbox Reds. Lord willing, I make it to Cincinnati and back.
All right. Well, we're wishing. Folks are saying the crackling's back, so that means it's a good time to end the show and me to say I don't know how the hell to get this thing fixed. And the only thing I can think of is just to, like I said, maybe I'll take this computer down to Smoke Justice, and perhaps some are saying on the way to Great American Ballpark we can find a place to deposit it. Until then, I'm going to go look for a poster the size of West Texas, one so big that they might think that I can't possibly fit it into the gates of Great American Ballpark, and it will be the umpire scorecard. So if you have a moment tomorrow and you follow umpire scorecard, please tag me in that as soon as it becomes available. I will then be calling every print shop around town to see what I could possibly get printed, and we will then we'll try to get that thing in Great American Ballpark. There's no doubt that I will have the cameras on me as we try to get it into Great American, and perhaps it'll be best if they take it away, because if they take it away, I will make even a bigger scene about it outside the park and say, they're not letting us bring this in. There needs to be accountability. Please spread this throughout social media the best you can. I need everybody to retweet this thing. And I think that will probably do pretty well. And there'll probably be more people that see it because I do that than the just taking it in there and throwing it up in the whatever section we're in for a couple times, hoping that the cameras will pan to me, but they probably never will. So until then, hopefully we see you tomorrow at Smoke Justice. I think it's been a good show. I appreciate everybody. Hit the like button on the way out. Love you. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.